Good, happy Monday morning, July 23rd, 2018. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, teen boy being hailed as hero after saving his friend from drowning. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Siobhan Lopez.
With an impressive 4K UHD display, the Dell G515 makes it easy to lose yourself in your games. Complete with an Intel Core i7 processor, NVIDIA GeForce GTX graphics, and dual cooling fans. It's the hero you never saw coming. See the Dell G515 in Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp in theaters now.
A quiet Sunday playing video games is possible for these friends after they avoided tragedy while celebrating 8th grade graduation on this pond in Pelham the day before.
Went out to swim. Before that I went fishing, and then that's about all we had time to do before apparently I passed out.
He's not someone who'd joke about something like that, so I knew something was wrong.
Matthew Brooks suffered a seizure while swimming.
I noticed that his eyes went to the top of his head.
His best friend Ethan Gary yelled out for help and jumped into action until an older boy made it into the water to help.
I kind of just went under and held him up for as long as I could until he came over and helped me lift him onto the raft.
Matthew remembers waking up in the ambulance. Doctors told his parents if it weren't for Ethan, Matthew might not have made it.
I didn't really know. I was just thinking all I had to do was help Matthew.
It was a good thing for him to do. I thanked him a lot for that.
Matthew's mother says their only other experience with a seizure was when Matthew was a toddler.
But they said it was isolated because he had had a fever, he was sick, and his fever just spiked too quick.
The mothers of these two boys are relieved to tell a story with a happy ending, both proud of what is sure to be a lifelong friendship.
A good friend. He was protecting a good friend. I don't really know how to express my gratitude in words for Ethan, but I mean, he saved my son's life. So, I just thought he deserved some recognition because he really is a hero.
Matthew's mom says they'll be keeping an eye on his health. Both boys are looking forward to starting high school together in the fall. Reporting in Pelham, Siobhan Lopez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Woman shot in chest at home in Topsfield. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
Brand with agents who are smart home specialists. Now you can. Coldwell Banker, the real estate company with real advantages.
What a scary situation. The shooting, a mystery night. What we do know is that gunshot came from somehow outside of the home here. That's all state police said, and it traveled all the way through the walls of that house, hit a woman who was rushed to the hospital, and luckily, she's okay tonight.
Trying to clarify where this weapon is and if this is accidental, and the caller's saying she's not sure, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on. 65-year-old female conscious and only gunshot wound to the chest at 1631.
Dispatchers trying to make sense of a scary situation Saturday afternoon after a flurry of 911 calls flooded into Topsfield police asking for help. People on the other end of the line reporting a shooting inside this home, but who, how, where, and why, a mystery.
It's kind of scary, but I don't know, it kind of sounds like unbelievable almost, that wouldn't happen this close.
I mean, no one really knows what happened.
State police tell News Center 5 that this shooting is random. They say a woman was visiting this quiet neighborhood when she was somehow shot in the chest. but by who, no one knows. State police say the gun was fired from outside. People who live around here alarmed by the random act of violence and say scenes like this don't happen around here.
No, nobody's immune to it, unfortunately, and that's a sad commentary on society these days.
Yeah, it's terrible. There's a lot of crazy people around. I hope they catch him.
Well, it's scary. I wish it wasn't random in a way because we had all the doors and windows open and we're always outside, so it's scary.
Now, the Essex DA tells us that one thing that's being looked at is that there was an event getting out of the Topsfield Fairgrounds at the time, which is just, you know, a couple hundred yards in front of us. They said it was a lowrider event. That's when cars are really low to the ground. That's one thing that they're looking at. Again, the important thing tonight is that this woman will be okay, and anyone who has any information about what went down in this neighborhood obviously has to call the state police ASAP.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Sheriff's Department cruiser involved in crash at Windham gas station. A Cumberland County Sheriff's Department cruiser collided with another car and ended up crashing into a vent and a sign at a gas station. The crash happened around 7 a.m. on Bragg Trail in Windham, officials said. A 38-year-old Windham woman was turning into the Irving Little Mart when the sheriff's cruiser collided with her, officials said. The cruiser was traveling in the same direction. The sheriff's cruiser hit a shortage tank vent pipe and then came to rest at a sign. The woman was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The deputy was not hurt. Gas pumps were shut off. No further information was released. Trump's job approval stable, but gets low marks on trade, immigration, and Russia, from a new poll from the Washington Journal. Fewer than 4 in 10 American voters approved of President Trump's handling of foreign trade policy, treatment of immigration families at America's southern border, and relations with Russia, a new NBC News/Wall Street Journal poll has found. The 45% who approved of his job performance compared to the 52% who disapproved represented a slight uptick since June. Trump issues threat to Iran. You will suffer consequences. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
Million people suffering from excessive sweating. It's not just stress, and it's not just anxiety. It's a medical condition called hyperhidrosis, and many people don't know they have it, even if they've figured out interesting tricks to try to hide it. If this is you, visit CheckYourSweat.com and talk to a dermatologist about hyperhidrosis, a treatable medical condition.
We're open to new steps. with not only our allies and partners, but with Iran as well. But only if Iran is willing to make major changes. As President Trump said 2 weeks ago, he is ready, willing, and able to negotiate a new deal. But the deal is not the objective. Our goal is to protect the American people. Any new agreement will make sure Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon and will deter the regime's malign behavior in a way that the JCPOA never could. You know, that list is pretty long, but if you take a look at it, these are 12 very basic requirements. The length of the list is simply a scope of the malign behavior of Iran. We didn't create the list. They did. From my conversation with European friends, I know that they broadly share these same views of what the Iranian regime must do to gain acceptance in the international community. We acknowledge Iran's right to defend its people, but not its actions, which jeopardize world citizens. Also, in contrast to the previous administration, we want to include Congress as a partner in this process. We want our efforts to have broad support with the American people and endure beyond the Trump administration. A treaty would be our preferred way to go. We understand that our reimposition of sanctions and the coming pressure campaign on the Iranian regime will pose financial and economic difficulties for a number of our friends. Indeed, it imposes economic challenges to America as well. These are markets our businesses would love to sell into as well. And we want to hear their concerns. But you know, we will hold those doing prohibited business in Iran to account. For 2 generations, the Iranian regime has exacted a heavy toll on its own people and the world. The hard grip of repression is all that millions of Iranians have ever known. Now's the time for the supreme leader and the Iranian regime to summon the courage to do something historically beneficial for its own people, for this ancient and proud nation. As for the United States, our eyes are clear as to the nature of this regime, but our ears are open to what may be possible. Unlike the previous administration, we are looking for outcomes that benefit the Iranian people, not just the regime. If anyone, especially the leaders of Iran, doubts the president's sincerity or his vision, let them look at our diplomacy with North Korea. Our willingness to meet with Kim Jong-un underscores the Trump administration's commitment to diplomacy to help solve the greatest challenges, even with our staunchest adversaries.
Fruit of the Loom's Everlight underwear is so light.
Okay, and that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.